Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com.
This time on Broad and High, local musicians get a unique chance to play for a national audience.
Songs at the Center is syndicated to more than 130 public television stations all over the country, and Gallery of Echoes is one of the crown jewels of Columbus, and we wanted to be able to provide a national audience for it.
Welcome to Broad and High. I'm Kate Quickle, and I'm going to spend most of our program today talking about a different TV program. It's called Songs at the Center, and it airs on Saturday nights here on WOSU. It features local and national singer-songwriters who perform before a live audience, usually at the McConnell Arts Center in Worthington. This locally produced program airs on more than 140 PBS stations across the country, giving our local musicians an amazing national platform. In fact, an upcoming episode will be entirely dedicated to highlighting the work of Shadowbox Live and its successful Gallery of Echoes project. Here's more.
You know, it's not just you. Just me.
You know, part of our mission at Songs at the Center is to be a national ambassador for the Columbus arts scene.
But I loved her more than I can say, and it's a shame it's not today to give me all I deserve. Line curves on every side, allies abound within the sound. All afraid that the fat lady sang while we were sleeping.
Songs at the Center is syndicated to more than 130 public television stations all over the country, including major markets from San Francisco to Chicago to New York. And perhaps no other collaborative effort has been more deserving of a national stage, the national stage that we can bring to them through our syndication, than the Gallery of Echoes at Shadowbox Theater. It's a collaboration among Shadowbox Live, the Columbus Museum of Art, and the Columbus Public Art Project, along with really, really talented people.
So a couple years ago, Steve Geyer came to me with this idea of interpreting works from the collection in music, dance, and video. And I thought it was a great idea. We took the band through the museum, gave them a little tour of the museum, and we had a great time, and they had a great time. They were like kids in a candy store, really. We probably picked 50 works of art that they were interested in, and we narrowed it down then to finally 21.
The only theme among them is that they're all part of the Columbus Museum of Art's permanent collection. The beginning point is the artwork. Second step, we write a piece of music that we feel expresses what that artwork or that artist or that time period, whatever, is trying to say.
Well, Shadowbox Live did two shows called Gallery of Echoes, which is what they call a metamedia collision of music composition, dance, fine art, spoken word, singing, and they put it together in just this incredibly powerful presentation. And our goal was to distill that 2-hour show into 26 minutes and take it to a national audience. In Songs at the Center, we showcase 3 or 4 songwriters every episode. And Gallery of Echoes is a collection of very unique compositions that were written by individual songwriters and later put together in a larger show. So it fits into our format in that respect.
We always say that art speaks during the conversation. This is bringing in lots of new people to join the conversation. When I go to Shadowbox and sit in the audience and I look around, I don't see the usual museum crowd. It's brand new people that we're introducing to works of art, and we're asking them to look at them in a new way and think about them in a new way. So for me, I mean, that's why you do it.
I love the idea of extending art to people that wouldn't necessarily go to a museum, and this show does a great job of that. We think that this could be exported and could help the rest of the world see Columbus in another light, where we're actually producers of art, not just college football.
Gallery of Echoes is one of the crown jewels of Columbus, and we want to be able to provide a national audience for it.
You can watch Songs at the Center here on WOSU every Saturday night at 11, right before Austin City Limits. Learn more about this show and how you can sit in on a live performance by visiting songsatthecenter.com. Hilda Doyle has been a fixture of the Columbus music scene for more than 30 years. In fact, she's one of many local artists who've been featured in Songs at the Center. She's a founding member of the Ladies of Longford, which also happens to include her daughters. Their sounds are a unique blend of both traditional and contemporary Irish styles. Here's a sample.
My name is Hilda Doyle, and I'm the leader of the Ladies of Longford.
All right, Julie, this is your jig.
The Ladies of Longford is an all-women Celtic band. I grew up in a family of music around me all the time. My dad played everything, all the stringed instruments, and my mother also played. She played piano and an upright bass. This is a ukulele, and it's the ukulele that I started playing on when I was 4 years old. Ain't she sweet? See her walking down the street, and I'll ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet?
It's more natural to see a picture with her with a guitar than without one. If she's not with the guitar, she always is like huge smile, arms around somebody, and just the life is coming out of her. When Mom walks in a room, the room lights up.
Drinking Irish beer, and it's Irish music that you're gonna hear every time you come in here. The Burns Pub, shout it out, Burns Pub!
And I believe this is around 1981 or 82. And then we both have the matching color scheme here, hot pink and white because it was 1986.
May your friends be as many as the promises that you keep.
We have been hanging out with our mother in bars since we were about 6. So really that wasn't a thought about not doing it, it just was kind of normal. She sang at the Hearth and Eagle Tavern from the time I was 6 until I was 22 or something like that.
Where you stand, may the wind be at your back and the road rise to meet you, and your soul rest at last.
There were times when, like at night, I would take my guitar and I would play like Sentimental Journey. I said, girls, you sing this, and then I'm going to sing this really pretty part that sounds really good with it. And I started singing harmony, and they never left the melody line. It was just so natural.
When I went to college, I remember people saying to me, musicals, who spontaneously breaks out into song in their house? And I thought, that was my life, that is my life, and so not so much of a stretch. Oh, we sing, wanna hear something? Gonna take a sentimental journey, gonna set my heart at ease, gonna
take a sentimental journey to renew all memories.
Oh yeah, there's more, but I didn't think you wanted it.
Oh, yeah! We got a couple Irish dancers right here. Oh, look how she kicks those legs
I think especially with she and I, you know, being sisters, we have had our roller coaster of events happen, but that is the one thing that no matter what else is happening in our life, when we sing together, it's harmony in more ways than one.
Habanyek na kadagila, habanyek na kadagila, habanyek na kadagila, skalanika hadaklan.
We were always exposed to music with a family setting. And I think it's more than just exposure, it's immersion.
Right. Yeah.
Like a language immersion. It's immersion in music to the point where it's part of the fabric of every day of your life.
From the time I was little, I just played music. And if I was sad or depressed or anything like that, it was the music that took me anywhere I wanted to go.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
You can watch Hilda's performance on Songs at the Center by going to pbs.org and typing in a search for Hilda Doyle. And visit ladiesoflongford.com to find out where you can watch them perform live around town. Columbus singer-songwriter Joey Hebdo is another artist who has performed on Songs at the Center. In fact, he performed in the same episode as Hilda Doyle. Here's a taste of his self-ascribed adventure folk sound.
I'm Joey Hebdo. I'm a singer-songwriter in Columbus. I have been playing in Columbus for a lot of years, probably 10 years, maybe more than that. I do work alone a lot of the time, but I also really enjoy collaboration. I think that my ideas can sometimes blossom much quicker and much bigger when I'm working with other people. Sailor was a success in the music world as well as film world.
You could do a hell of a lot better than me.
Since then, I have worked again with a friend that I've made in Paris, France, and we've made another video for the new song Rumors. So I kind of started writing the song. I got the initial idea a while back when we were supposed to have the end of the world, if you recall, and I found that kind of fascinating. So I started just playing with that idea. But the song was interpreted in many ways by different people. Some people think it's about a relationship, some people think it's about, you know, numerous things. But the video did a really good job of taking that first thing that I mentioned and just expounding upon it. It does have an old-timey feel, the Orson Welles radio, the world is ending, things are happening, you know, is it real, is it not real? And it does kind of harken back to that whole thing. A couple people that I've had seen it, specifically my grandmother, she was like, you know, I don't understand it still. And I just said, you know what, it's art, it's fine. Just let it be art.
Citizens of the nation, I shall not try to conceal the gravity of the situation that confronts the country.
Rumors spreading like a bird in flight. Ain't nothing we can do. They never seem to get the details right. They're spreading every word but the truth. You know they're slicker than a politician, like the rat inside the House of White. They got me steady, just keep on wishing that the jury wasn't out for the night. We're all afraid that the fat lady sang while we were sleeping tight. We all got that sinking feeling, but I know that he knows, that you know, that she knows that we are all through. And I know that he knows, that you know, that she knows that we are all through. Sometimes it seems there's a plague on the street. We must have had a slice of devil's pie. The busy talkers always talking too long, never venting any of their own crimes. A loud crack like a whip in the night. Yeah, your words slap our face. You can take the trash out of the can and put yourself back in its place. We're all afraid that the fat lady sang while we were sleeping tight. We all got that sinking feeling, but that I know that he knows, that you know, that she knows that we are all through. And I know that he knows, that you know, that she knows that we are all through. If you keep on talking, pretty soon you end up in a coffin. I know that he knows, that you know, that she knows that we are all through. And I know that he knows, that you know, that she knows that we are all through. And I know that he knows, that you know, that she knows that we are all through. And I know that he knows, that you know, that she knows that we are all through.
You can watch Hebdo's performance on Songs at the Center by visiting pbs.org and doing a keyword search for him. Now we're going to change gears away from music to check out the work of another artist, but this one technically had a live audience too. This past summer, Ohio metal artist Doug Benedict used donated scrap metal to build a new permanent public art sculpture out in Vandalia near Dayton.
Heavy Metal Remix was a symposium to build a steel sculpture from recycled materials at the City Art Park in Vandalia.
We were looking for donations of metal pieces, and they had to be magnetic, and they needed to be steel, and they needed to be heavy gauge. And since it's the reuse of scrap metals and materials, the name of the event, Vandalia's Heavy Metal Remix, worked really well.
I'm really not particular about where it comes from, but more what it looks like and how it fits into my project. I am self-taught. I mean, I think I'm really good with proportions. I have a very good eye for what looks right. If I know I like it, I know someone else is going to like it. I started it about 13, maybe 14 years ago. What I do for a living, I trim trees, a little bit of landscaping and cutting grass, and my art has nothing to do with it. The only thing I take from my job into the art is what I see in the nature world, you know, the insects and trees and bugs and rocks, even flowers. I find myself trying to imitate what nature has created.
Vandalia is the crossroads of America, where National Road and Dixie Drive intersect. Vandalia always has had people very interested in art. We have some strong artists that live in Vandalia. In 2001, we started Vandalia Cultural Arts, and in about 2007, we decided that since there was enough funding, we would like to give the community something that they can be involved in and results in a piece of public art. Vandalia Chiseled was a limestone sculpture symposium. So we had 5 artists that started with large blocks of Indiana limestone, and they were here for a 2-week period in 2010, and then we installed it in 2011. And so now we have 5 pieces of large public art on display in the city. Well, the art park is another thing that started several years ago. The Vandalia Art Park has 2 annual exhibits in it. One of them is a walking exhibit that has generally been photographs. The other pieces in the art park come to us from Midwest Sculpture Initiative, and they're leased. And then they install them and deinstall them at the end of the year, and then we get a new series for the coming year. It's much more economical. We couldn't afford to purchase all of those pieces. So this works out very well, and our committee has decided that the changing of the pieces also brings people out and interest to the community. The first piece that went into the Vandalia Art Park was a piece done during the Sculpture Symposium. The second piece was purchased from Midwest Sculpture Initiative in 2015, and it's the Daddy Longlegs that sits to the rear of the park with its own landscaped area. And then the third piece was a community project, 2 totems that are about 13 feet tall that sit on the entrance to the park. We had 20 people make a piece of the totem, and probably about half of the people were artists and half of them had never done anything like that before. So Doug Benedict's piece will be the 4th piece that's a permanent piece and owned by the city. So we hope to do that over the next few years, where we own a piece every 1 or 2 years that fulfills the art park needs.
I think it's some serious validation of your work that someone would think you're good enough to, whether it's on a wall, anywhere, that in a public space. So as soon as they asked me, I was in. When I'm doing my art, it's the release. The rest of the world is zoned out, and you're just there in that moment. I really get focused. You lose track of time, everything. Mostly I do my art for myself, and I don't work on it at a blistering pace. I don't have a schedule when it has to be done, so that was really different for me. I didn't realize that art in that form is a job. I was up there for 10 days, and in the middle of it, I could really feel the weight of the project. You're concerned on how it's going to come out. The volunteers that actually helped me were great. I never would have got done on time. The volunteers really took instruction well and did it. A lot of grinding, some cutting on the bandsaw. We had to prepare the propane tanks and then holding parts together while I tacked them on. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. I took some advice from a few people here and there.
You do the side ones, and then it naturally supports it.
Especially on the construction of it, you know. I hadn't really had an idea until we got this cultivator. When we got the cultivator, I could see the legs of the Caterpillar right there. I knew the propane tanks were going to be a big body. I think my favorite part of the sculpture would be the mouth. And I think some combination of this is going to be the eyes. And I made like a mustache for it. So I have a sense of humor.
The community response was very positive.
I think that's going to be the antennae on it.
I noticed a lot more people going to the art park every day on a general basis. We had a lot of involvement from volunteers. We probably had 50 different people that either acted as docents or Doug's assistants. So I think it's been really, really good. Plus we got a piece of art. The Vandalia Art Park is open to the public 24/7. It also joins a wonderful Historical Society property. So it is a regional destination. People come from out of the area to see both of those parks, and I think it just is such a gift to the community. I think art is important to every community. We all work on streets and fire and police, and we need a broader scope than that, and I think art brings that to us. Our kids love it, our kids love to express themselves with art, and it broadens us and makes us grow and be better.
I think art is a way for people to express themselves in new and different ways. It's sad that it took me this long in my life to come to that, you know. I wish I could learn how to make a living off of it, a true living. It's tough, and it's putting yourself out there. When I'm done with the tree business, it's my plan to pursue art more so than I am now. It really is. I tell people I'd love to get out of the destruction and go into the creation business, because I'd rather create than destroy, and that's what art is creating.
That's our show. You can see all of today's stories at WOSU.org, and be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're closing the show with the music of yet another local singer-songwriter who's performed on Songs at the Center. This is Angela Perley and the Howlin' Moons. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here next week on Broad and High.
My heart breaks like
Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com.